Yeah,
All
you guys
right.
are my so.
Okay. Yeah. We are live now. So, all right.
Yeah.
So, how's it going, Bullet?
It's going. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Pretty good. Yeah. All right. So we got pro wrestling rookie Bullet Bronson, mainly in the North Dakota territory. So, yeah,
Yep.
getting his first. He's had his first two matches already in North Dakota, and I've seen one of them. It was the Battle Royal in October, and I think that was a pretty good performance for your, I believe, your first match, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was my first appearance for Below Zero, and next Sunday I'll be making my singles debut for Puffmania against Levi Lanigan.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So next week, Puffmania, and where was that again?
Valley City.
Yeah, Valley City, North Dakota. It'll be your first one-on-one match, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So I'll go with the question here. Just talk about the start of your wrestling career and how that all came about.
Well, I grew up a wrestling fan, like probably a lot of the people that got into pro wrestling. I started watching it when I was about 8 years old. I was just at home watching TV, trying to find something interesting to watch, and then I came across WWE. You know, that's probably where 90% of pro wrestlers nowadays started watching. And as I got into it more, I went to my first show because my friend's dad owned his own promotion when I lived in Michigan. So I was like, okay, this is something I want to do when I get older. And years later, April 24th, 2019, I started training with Pat Tanaka from the Orient Express. He was in AWA, New Japan. And from there, I just trained as much as I could. And I was very fortunate to have an opportunity with Below Zero to make my debut. Next weekend, I get to have my singles debut, and I'm going to show the world just what I'm capable of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Pat Tanaka, obviously a big name in the world of wrestling, and yeah, I didn't know that you got trained by him. So it's definitely cool to hear that, and getting trained by one of the biggest names out there. So yeah.
I've also done seminars with Eugene and Dominic Barini, and I will be doing the seminar for Puffmania, which is happening next Sunday. The seminar is on Below Zero, or not Below Zero, Puffmania's Facebook page if anybody wants to get signed up for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll let you go with the question, Jesse.
All right. Before we get to the question here, Bullet, me and you talked earlier today, and we just want to take the time to send our condolences out to Pete King, who lost his mother. I definitely talked with Pete a little bit today. I just think right now he's just in a state of shock, which anybody would be if they lose a parent. So yeah, we definitely send our condolences out to Pete. My question for you, Bullet, is I was kind of reading up on you a little bit, and you're from Michigan, correct?
Yes.
And do you wrestle out in Michigan at all?
No, I haven't had the opportunity to wrestle in Michigan yet, just because I live in North Dakota now. But I did have the chance while I've been here to go train with Truth Martini. I went to his school, and I got to have some training done by his guys, which was, I learned a lot within, just a short amount of time of just being there. But I do plan on eventually, hopefully, wrestling in Michigan at some point this year.
All right.
Yeah.
That'll be nice for you to kind of wrestle in front of your home crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, just describe your character. Who is Bullet Bronson, and what is your whole character about?
See, that's something I'm still trying to figure out, being, not even like a year into my wrestling career. So I think
Mm-hmm.
along the journey of trying to find out who I am as a character or as a person, which is going to be good to bring the audience, with me, because they get to experience who I become if I keep the mask or if I don't keep the mask. I think it's going to be interesting to find out who I am, because I don't think I really know yet, but I hope along the way I do find out who I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, you know, Piece it all together on who I am, where I want to be, and what I want to do.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. 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 Obviously, yeah. 1 year into it, you're probably still figuring it out and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think as of the first show I know is your debut, but I think fans could be behind the Bullet Bronson and what you could do in the future. So
Right.
yeah.
That definitely be great. That's the goal there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. Speaking of Pete, he just popped on with a comment. APW being represented. Glad that Pete can watch the broadcast tonight. So,
Mm-hmm.
so Bullet, who would your dream opponent be to wrestle?
Like anywhere, any promotion or anything.
Yep, anywhere, any promotion.
Well, this may sound like a Mark thing, but that's all right, because everybody grew up idolizing somebody. My dream match would be CM Punk, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be kind of interesting.
CM Punk is the one that really pushed me to want to become a pro wrestler. Just like everything he stood for, he was the outcast. He didn't care. He stood his ground. He wasn't, like everything that he stood for with the pipe bomb and just everything he's done, how he walked away, and then he made his probably the biggest return in pro wrestling history. But that can just be my biased opinion.
I agree with that. I mean, you just can't walk away from 7 years without getting that itch to come back. And I mean, hopefully he'll stick around for more, because now he wants to work with the younger talent.
Yep.
And I think for him is good.
Yeah. Not only for him, but I think it's great for pro wrestling and just in general, because AEW is obviously blowing up and it's giving more of just not WWE anymore. It's showing the indie guys that are coming to AEW, and AEW Dark, where they have indie guys coming in like Jason Strife. Jason Strife is one of the best pro wrestlers I've ever seen, hands down. Like guys like him, opportunity to go work for AEW on their Dark and be put on their YouTube channel and showcase his ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually there for the Jason Strife AEW Dark match and back in November, and it's very cool to see him. I think I'd seen him a few times before that, but just cool that he got a chance a chance to show his abilities, and then I've been reading up, and he's uh, I don't maybe 15 years or 12 or some
I think
number of years.
wrestling 2004.
2004.
I believe so. I think I seen a shirt where it said 2004.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a veteran of the game, and he's definitely a great talent. And
Definitely.
yep.
I had the
Yeah.
opportunity. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, definitely a great talent, and then obviously, CM Punk's great talent. Obviously, I think it is the greatest return of pretty much all time, because after 7 years, and they were chanting his name for 7 years, which is kind of unheard of. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he's
Back on
also inspired a lot of people. So, yeah.
Back on the Jason Strife thing. I think it was 2020, I had the opportunity to go down to a Midwest All Pro show. I rode down there with Rampage Santana, just to get some in-ring training. And Eugene comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, kid, you ever referee before?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Huh, you're going to referee tonight." And I got to two matches, and one of those matches were Jason Strife versus DeLorean. And, man, when you're in the ring, you can feel the energy, but you learn so much from a perspective of how, a referee, like, their job is, man, it's insane. Like, you're just in there, and you're like, "Oh, I can't mess this up. I can't do this." You're just trying to stay out of the way. But that was one of the, I was in there, I was sweating. I was like, "Man, this is great." Like, they put on, like, the best match of the night.
Yeah. Strife and Diggs, that would have been awesome to see. I've seen both of them in separate matches, but yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good people.
Yeah. Speaking of Eugene too, I first saw him in September, and I was like, it was my second Below Zero wrestling show. I'm like, yeah, definitely got to go to that to see Eugene, and he did his old character and everything. And I'm a little older now, but I still think he was pulling off a great match with the system. So
Yeah, he still has it. He likes to mess with me a lot, though. He likes to sit there and rib me here and there.
Yeah. Okay. Talk about your relationship with Below Zero Wrestling.
Well, that's a good one, because Below Zero Wrestling, when I trained with Tanaka, Zach I don't really know how to pronounce his last name, so I just call him Zach. He's one of the owners with Nick Stoke of Below Zero, and he used to be the photographer for Tanaka Productions. So I met Zach a few times before Below Zero was even a thing. And one day Zach came to me, and he talked about how Below Zero is coming, and asked if I wanted to work on one of the shows one day. And I was like, of course, that's definitely would be a good one. I always had a good relationship with Zach. And then eventually I got to meet Nick, which I have a pretty good relationship with Nick. He's a great guy. And I did the seminar with Eugene, and I guess I impressed them with whatever I did during that seminar. And I was very fortunate to be able to give him, my spot in the Battle Royal. And just working with those guys in the Battle Royal alone, you learn so much.
Right. Yeah. Nick's obviously a great guy. I first met him a few months ago on Facebook, and then went to the show. Met him in first at Fergus Falls, so at the same show you were at. And definitely a great guy, and I like the direction that Below Zero Wrestling is going in right now. So
yeah, the way they promote their stuff, they treat their wrestlers great. They feed their wrestlers. It just overall, it's just an amazing promotion.
Yeah.
You were there for the last show with Ace Austin and NDS and all of them. That
was awesome. There, seeing the couple or two Minnesota guys go at it with some big Impact stars was pretty insane, and that was definitely probably the best match of the night. So
yeah, I mean, that's like, even NDS, man, they're great talent. There's a lot of great talent out in the Midwest, and NDS is, man, just amazing people too.
Yeah, I saw a post a few hours ago, I believe. It was from Aaron Corbin, and he was saying that the Revival is looking to do some indie appearances, and he was doing asking a couple of his Facebook friends if they were to come to Minnesota and do a show, what would be the best tag team? And I had commented NDS, no doubt, because they've really can tear it up. So
that'd be great. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Stoke and Zach, got their fingers into that, and I'm surprised if they were one day coming to Below Zero. So who knows? That could happen.
Yeah, Revival versus, or not Revive. What is their FTR? FTR versus NDS. That would definitely be a great below zero wrestling match. So
Yeah, especially with PR's wrestling style was, old school, and then you got NDS. They were trained by Kennedy. Just those two collabing that'd be a great match. Like absolutely great. Like and sell up the show great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right, we have a comment here from Pete King, and this is directed to you, Bullet. Gonna hitch a ride with Tank? Wink.
When is that show? I'm still in Michigan right now because I came up for my sister's funeral. But if you're doing like a battle royal or something, I can definitely talk to Tank. We talk here and there now. We became buddies. Just the wrestling world is just everybody just becomes family. So I can definitely talk to him. I just need a date and time.
Yeah, I think he has that show coming up this weekend, right, Jeryn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
right.
out wrestling,
I don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go.
Because I got to get on a train Saturday from Michigan all the way back to North Dakota, and I don't get into 4 a.m. And then I got to get off the train and then go to the Below Zero show to do setup. So it's gonna be a crazy weekend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot Below Zero. That's Below Zero Wrestling at the Wahpeton Event Center in North Dakota on Sunday. So yeah, that's definitely gonna be a big show. I really wish I was going, but I gotta head out for my spring break from Moorhead to down to the cities tomorrow, and I'm like, dang, I'm gonna miss Below Zero Wrestling, and that would have been the farthest I would have gone into North Dakota. So some sacrifices to wrestling, unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to Puffmania next weekend?
I will. No, I have to cancel that too. My spring breaks for about a week, and I'll be back in Fargo Moorhead around like Sunday or probably Sunday night next week. So yeah,
Okay.
I was really looking forward to that too. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, instead since I'm closer to the another wrestling, I'm gonna go to Ironheart Pro Wrestling on Friday and Saturday. So they're gonna be in Rosemont and Wisconsin. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. What are some of your hobbies? Camera down. What are some of your hobbies outside pro wrestling?
My what? I'm sorry. You're cutting out again. My uncle's Wi-Fi.
What are some of your hobbies outside pro wrestling?
Well, I don't really. I mean, I like to hang out with my friends. I like to go do stuff, but my mind's just constantly on wrestling. I would say, like, I mean, obviously, I work my job and I'm a father, but man, I just wrestle. So it's usually gym or work or father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's like really that's the only really thing I'm just like I'm in love with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, we can transition to that too because you recently became a father a few months ago, and how's that been going?
Oh, it's going great. I love it. It's a great experience. A lot of sleepless.
Yeah. Kids are loud, so yeah.
Yeah, she's eating right now, so she hasn't been sleeping very well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I hope that's going well, and I think it's cool to have to be a wrestler, and then cool for a kid to have a dad as a wrestler. I mean, she doesn't realize it now, but I mean, she will if you continue, and even if you don't, you'll still have been a wrestler. So
yeah. My stepson really wrestling, and he likes to like always wrestle every time. But like, he'll just come up, he'll be like, let's fight. And one time, we were just messing around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right, Bullet. Who would, if you could pick any independent wrestler to wrestle, who would it be?
Jack Ledger. Jack
Yeah,
Ledger.
yeah.
I've been very fortunate enough to call Jack Ledger a friend, but I would love more than anything to call my opponent because, man, that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if I would say in 5 years he's like signed to AEW. I mean, I met Jack Ledger back in Fully Loaded when he wrestled for Fully Loaded, and like I came up to him, I was like, "Dude, you're like one of the greatest talents I've ever seen." And I mean, I would love to work with him now. I mean, I'm one of the boys, so it'd be great to be able to work Jack.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Jack Ledger at the last Below Zero Wrestling became the first ever Below Zero Wrestling champion in the Fatal 4-Way ladder match. So I think,
Yeah, I was second.
yeah, it'd be cool to have a title match down the line, maybe. So
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely get to that.
Start getting the gold. So,
Mm,
but yeah, I've seen Ledger 2 or 3 times now, and yeah, he's definitely a great wrestler and great talent. He's wrestled all over the Midwest, and yeah, definitely doing a great job. So,
Him and Bobby are both great wrestlers. Really, really
was that?
sweet, down to earth.
Oh yeah. Huh. Okay. Oh. Your mic cutting out again, Jesse, or your audio?
Yeah, I was just checking it, make sure that background noise
Oh,
and everything was on. So seems like everything's working on my end. So
oh, that was just you. Okay, I thought it was something going on. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll let you go with another question.
all right, so Bullet has anybody from the Midwest been in contact with you about maybe coming in and working for their companies?
No, not really. I mean, I've been thinking about reaching out, but I haven't felt like the moment was right yet for me. But I think after my match with Levi Lanigan, um, I feel like once I have that opportunity, it'll relieve some of my anxiety and want me to step outside of the box and finally start wanting to go out to all these different promotions.
Right.
Mm.
But I'm
Yeah.
definitely interested in taking booking.
Okay. Yeah. 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 There's Minnesota wrestling's just never been as big as it now, and you got so many different companies out there that are always looking for new talent and new guys to showcase. So yeah, you just pretty much got to get your name out there, and I think they'll contact you and be able to get bookings and stuff. So yeah. All right. Which wrestler was your character inspired by?
Yeah, that's the thing is I didn't really inspire myself off to be nobody. I would say just because I kind of want to stand out and be different. That way somebody can't compare me to anybody else. I mean, obviously, like my size wise, people call me Rey Mysterio all the time, but I mean, I just
Yeah.
something
Hmm.
different. I wanted to just be, somebody that nobody's ever seen before, which is kind of hard in pro wrestling. But I'm gonna try to find a way to just be different. But in pro wrestling, we all learn pretty much the same things, but you can teach yourself a different way. And if I can do that, I mean, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm looking through the comments here, and P King says you always have a home at All Out, so I think you got some opportunities there.
Thank you, Pete. I really appreciate that. I can't wait to come work for you finally. Hopefully, no more circumstances pop up. Each time I've tried to work with Pete, I've had something pop up. Like the last time, my buddy that I was going to ride with that was on the show with me got COVID. We went to the movie theater the night before, so
Mm.
we did not
Yeah.
go. get anybody sick, so they had to call off the booking. But that's all right.
Mm. Oh, okay.
Everything happens
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, yeah. And then also he says Tank is going against superstar Steve Stardom this Saturday in Chippewa, Wisconsin for his event. So
Yeah,
yeah.
Tank's definitely he's getting out there. He's definitely making a name for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen him on I think I first found him on TikTok or something, and then found his Instagram and been following what he's doing a little bit. So
Yeah,
yeah.
good thing.
Mhm.
Social media
Yeah.
is one of the best things, but one of the worst things to also happen for pro wrestling, in my opinion. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I feel like, well, it's obviously a great way to promote yourself, but then, like, does it destroy characters or anything? And
You say
take
one world's against you.
yeah, yeah. And it's a big thing for, especially for like WWE and AEW. So,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So I'm just gonna break away here for a moment and talk video games here. With all the like WWE 2Ks coming out, do you ever think that somebody will be thinking about making an independent game?
Speaking of, thank you, because I was going to bring this up eventually. There's this promotion type deal, Valdrick. It's like Valdrick's Gaming or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They actually made it's like a simulation based, but it's for independent wrestling promotions and independent wrestlers. I happened to fill out an application and be added to the game. So that's great because this guy is trying to I think it's the first ever indie made pro wrestling game. It's
Right.
called Indie Pro 22.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
I've been hearing about that. It's really cool. So,
yeah, I can
yeah.
definitely send you guys the thing about it. But there's
Mm-hmm.
like thousands upon thousands of indie pro wrestlers that are going to be a part of this video game, which is Below Zero is actually one of the promotions that is a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was just looking through that now. There's some wrestlers named Chris Marks and Coco Anderson, John Allister. Trying to see if there's some names that we know. What is Chris Cage? I know there's a Iowa announcer, Matthew Hayden from Rugged Pro Wrestling. He's going to be an announcer on the game. So
Yep,
yeah, there's
they do announcers, referees, managers, stuff like that. I think it's pretty great for the indie wrestling scene too.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just so many guys on here now. I'm not sure. I mean, they're indie all over the place. There's a lot of unknown names, but there's definitely a lot on here. So,
Yeah,
and it's cool that you're on there for your first year in wrestling and first
yeah,
time making a indie games. So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's crazy. I've been fortunate enough to have some cool stuff happen so far. Like in 2019, I was actually on a CBS sports TV show called Poker Nights in America, which had Pat Tanaka, Chavo Guerrero, PJ Black, and man, I forgot what his name was. Um, I'm drawing a blank. He had the stormtrooper looking helmet way back in the day. He fell through the wall. It's like a meme now.
The Shockmaster.
Shockmaster, yeah. He was on.
Yeah.
They showed a clip from our training way back in 2019 when I was still just getting like my foot into the door. That was pretty cool exposure too. I got chopped and Chavo Guerrero loved it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Huh. Yeah, thought it's always cool to get your name out there that way too. So, yeah. All right. What We've talked APW and BZW, but what are some companies that you hope to work for in the future?
Hmm. I would honestly love to go work down in the South for a few of their promotions. I would definitely love 100% to work for MAW.
Mm,
I've
yeah,
heard,
yeah.
I know a few people that have wrestled there, and I would love to work there. I would love to work a Magnum Pro show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Magnum Pro. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, MAW's it's gotten insane now. They've grown so much in just a few years, and they got all these awesome indie stars, and then they also bring in legends to hype up their show even more. So they're definitely doing a great job now. So
Yeah.
yeah, I believe in the summer on June 11th they're bringing in Lex Luger. So
Oh,
that'll be
wow.
a big yeah.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm. And they've had Ken Anderson and I might be drawing a blank now. Scott Steiner and there's so many names though, but they're definitely doing a great job. And David Amatrano just brings in so many guys now. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I see that Kennedy's partnering up with them, I think, the Academy.
Yep.
yeah,
Be a great opportunity for a lot of the Academy guys because Ken makes great guys as it is, like NDS, Rampage Santana, The System, all those guys. Like, so, I
mhm.
mean, you got Top Flight in AEW. I mean, now they're going to partner with MAW. So I think it's just going to be great for those guys that train the community.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely going to be awesome. And Kennedy's made so many awesome wrestlers, and they've become champions in different companies. And the main thing is that they're over too. Like the system, I've never seen a wrestler more over than him, and his name is pretty much a catchphrase now. Trust the systems. So
Yeah, yeah, he's a
yeah,
good guy too.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Looking through the comments here, I think Pete King was suggesting ACW and GLCW companies to work at.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know GLCW. It's a company in Wisconsin. They had a big show a few months ago. They literally had like 100 wrestlers on that show. The poster was insane. So
100 wrestlers.
100 like big time stars. So like Braun Strowman, EC3, Serena Deeb, and
That
maybe
sounds like
Rhino.
for pro wrestling.
Yeah, it it was more of a big time event than an indie event, but yeah, it was pretty big company for them to be able to pull it off like that. So
My phone keeps lighting up. I'm sorry.
hmm. And then P King also just talked about APW. He says his APW champ is Shane Foster. So if you ever want to face him one day, that might be an option. So
Yeah, you
hmm
never know.
hmm
Definitely
yeah.
down for anything. Everything's a learning experience to me.
hmm Yeah, yeah. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So if you were to ever make it to the MAW or any indie promotion in the Midwest, who would be the guy that you would like to face?
Rampage Santana.
Mhm.
Rampage, he's actually a buddy of mine, and he taught me a lot. Like, just like in a short amount of time. One time he came up to Fargo and he stayed with me for a week, and he was very helpful and giving me, not training wise, but giving me pointers and showing me stuff. And he is gonna be a huge star. I already told him this. Like, Rampage was in his rookie year in 2020, and he is like pretty much traveling the world. He's going to all these different shows, all these different promotions, and it's just going to get better and better. So I would love to work with Rampage.
hmm Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's insane how big his name has gotten in these just last 2 years now, and he's probably the most over wrestler in the fan base too. So it's definitely got a lot of great things going on. So
especially
yeah.
Trinity and he trained with somebody else. I draw blanks a lot with that stuff. Greg Gagne.
Yeah. He calls himself the Greg Gagne guy. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Greg was actually at a Puffmania show last summer. I mean, that was a pretty big show for them too to have Greg there.
Yeah. I remember seeing some videos from that. So it's definitely a big event. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Oh yeah. So recently you've gotten some merch out there right now, and I'm actually wearing the first ever Bullet Bronson shirt. So, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, so the thing with what I've been told in pro wrestling is you've got to do anything to put your name out there. Gino Rivera, I don't know if you were at the show that he was at. When was it? September, I think.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Okay. He was also another guy that I got to step in the ring with for a few minutes and learned just so much from. Like, just within like 15 minutes, like he taught me so much. And we text here and there, and he gave me advice on you got to do pictures, you got to do autographs, you got to do, merchandise, because if one person's wearing your shirt and more people are going to see that shirt and more people are going to ask about you, more people may become interested in you. People are wearing your shirt. It's like they're a walking billboard. People are going to be interested. So I said, oh, okay, let me get out some merch. And then more people started buying my shirts. I started getting more followers. I started getting more people asking about what I do, who I am, stuff like that. So I think merch is one of the best things indie pro wrestlers can do, and it's one of the best ways to get yourself out there other than being a wrestler on TV.
Right. Yeah. Merchandise is just incredibly important, and it's probably the best way to make money once you get popular and out there. So merchandise is a great thing. I've collected just since I've started watching indie wrestling in 2017. I think for the first 2 to 3 years I bought a shirt like at every show, and I have like 20 or 30 shirts now at my house. So it's insane how much, and still buy some here and there, but I've tried to lean back on that a little bit since it does get expensive. But for anybody out there, buy shirts, support wrestling. Yeah. And where can fans buy your shirt right now?
Right now, I do have my shirts on prowrestlingtees.com. All you got to do is just search in my name, and you can find I have one shirt up so far, but here in the future, when I change up, like my mask designs, I'll have more shirts out.
Okay. Yeah.
But I definitely go to for the Puffmania show again.
Yeah. Are you gonna do you sell shirts are you gonna start selling them at shows now or just online?
Yeah, probably after this show, because it was so it was out of the blue that I got messaged. So definitely at the next show, if it's a Below Zero or Puffmania shirt, I'm going to be able to have time to have the shirts made and sent to me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. But as of right now, go to Pro Wrestling Tees where you can get your first ever Bullet Bronson t-shirt right here. I think pretty awesome design. It's got your mask on there. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right. In the comment sections, Pete says APW shirt would look good on you.
I'd definitely like to have one. That's for sure.
Sounds like he's trying to get you to really, really sign with his company.
Well, the next show that you have, just reach out to me and we'll talk and we'll make it work.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What else? Yeah, so we've been talking about merchandise items and such, but I think you got a pretty unique wrestling gear, and I was wondering who is your main gear maker?
Well, that was another thing about me. I reached out to a few people. I had my own gear design made, but the company that was gonna make my gear, they just like stopped making gear. I don't know if they're just intermission or if they're done for good. So I never was able to have my gear made. So I unfortunately had to go through elucha.com because I was gonna have gear made, and they're like, "Hey, we're not doing business now." Like, and I tried to reach out to a few people about getting my gear made before the show, and everybody was telling me like we're swamped, like 5-month wait. So I was like, man, what am I gonna do? Like, I need gear. I can't just show up in sweatpants and shoes like my opponent Levi Lanigan. So
Yeah.
I was looking at gear, and I didn't just pick out gear. I was like, okay, what's gonna make me stand out, and what's me on this gear? Like, what's gonna represent Bullet? And that's what all came along.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I know for sure. Know one gear maker. I mean, I know he's also always a busy guy. But if you ever want to get in contact and get a gear made, Craven Knight. He's a pro wrestling veteran around the Midwest. He makes gear called Break Night Creatives. I believe that's his little company name. So he's made so much gear. He's made gear for Arya Davari, former WWE and current AEW star, and Brandon Gore, and there's so many talents out there. Then they all love his gear. He's probably makes the best gear out there. So
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely talk to him. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So, how did you come up with the name Bullet Bronson?
So that's funny that we talked about that. When I had Rampage Santana at my house, and he was like giving me some advice. I was like, man, I don't want to just go out and have my name. And I always used to joke around that, oh, when I wrestle, I'm gonna be small and deadly like a bullet. He was like, Bullet. He's like, that's catchy. He's like, Bronson. And I was like, Bullet. He's like, Bronson. And I was like, Bullet Bronson. And it just came together. It was literally just us joking around. And I was like, dude, I was really thinking about it. I was like, Bullet Bronson. Because at first I was just going to call myself, like Bronson something. And I was like, Bullet Bronson. I was like, that sounds catchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I kind of base my wrestling style off of is, I'm small, but, just you never know. That one impact is going to get you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Small,
yeah, I was. Yeah, I've always wondered about your name. I was like, I don't think I've heard of anyone use Bullet as their name. It's usually like a nickname or something, but I think it's a catchy name that'll catch on with the fans. So
yeah. I was really hoping there was no bullets out there. I kind of did some research to make sure. There's definitely some people out there with the name Bronson, but I don't think anybody's going by Bullet.
Yeah, not that I've heard of, but yeah, Bullet Bronson stands out. So.
But I was like, yeah, no. Because we're like Bullet, the Bullet Club. I was like, nah, I wish.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think you screenshotted the page on Pro Wrestling Tees. You have your shirt, and then right next to it is Bullet Club stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even really notice that.
Yeah. Bullet Bronson may or may not be a new member of the Bullet Club.
The new leader.
Yeah. Huh. Right. Yeah. So I know currently you're a singles wrestler, but if you were in a tag team, who would be your tag partner in the independent scene?
Well, I would say hopefully after this Sunday, after I give him the beating that he deserves, that's been a long time in the making. Maybe he's gonna realize that he doesn't want to go against me and just work with me instead. I would love for my partner to be Levi Lanigan. Levi and I go way back. We started training together, but we know each other so well that I think it would work perfectly for a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
It'd kind of be like, like Marty, Jannetty, and Shawn Michaels, how they knew each other, all that. I think it would be good for me and Levi. And I think Levi would do the same thing after this Sunday. Or next Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely would be a interesting team to see Levi Lanigan and Bronson tag up in pretty much any company in the Midwest and North Dakota
we
or
worked
something.
a tag team a long time ago, but some stuff happened. We decided to just do singles wrestling. We were going to call ourselves the Hollywood Express. I had my hair all long and blonde with him, and we were like, "What's up with the Hollywood Express?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Yeah. Huh. All right. Yeah, just wanted to talk about like tag team formations on AEW Dynamite. John Moxley and Bryan Danielson just became a tag team, and I thought that was really surprising.
I mean, I think it's definitely great, especially if they're going to have Regal in their corner, because those three together, you can just make a monstrous, just stable. Well, not stable with them being the manager, just them being there or him being there, and you got Moxley, who's crazy, and you got Bryan, who's one of like the best wrestlers in the world. You put them together with a mind like William Regal, that's gold.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely see the tag titles within 3 months. Hopefully, my phone will stop within that amount of time.
Yeah. I think they definitely could go for the tag team titles, and I believe right now it's the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boys. So if they're still champions, I believe that could be a great match to have. So yeah. But I know think soon. I think the Young Bucks are the contenders again. So maybe they might be champions or sometime in the future. So yeah,
That'd also be a good match. Bucks,
mm-hmm.
Moxley, and Bryan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll let you go, Jesse.
Yeah, you can't forget about the reformation of the Hardy Boys either there, Jeryn.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, with AEW, I think they're going to probably have the best tag teams of any company right now. WWE is at kind of a stalemate with that. So I think AEW tag teams are going to be up there a little more than WWE. What do you think about that, Bronson?
I think the pro wrestling world definitely does need to protect because, you look at guys that are great wrestlers and you put them with another great wrestler. I mean, pro wrestling, used to be really big on the tag teams, and it kind of just faded away because the only major product to really watch was WWE, and Vince kind of stopped caring about the tag team division. And now here's AEW, who's trying to revive it, and I think it will be really well. And I honestly think he can have just major market for it.
Yeah. It definitely has died down in WWE, and really now I think they just put guys together and make them like a weird tag team. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not focused on either. So yeah,
you just put somebody together on maybe 2K20 or whatever, and it's just whatever. That's how it seems like nowadays.
Yeah, random tag team for Raw. I believe Zelina Vega and Carmella are a tag team, but no one really talks about that, so I don't know.
It's because you never know. It's like they're together 1 week and then Vince breaks it up 2 weeks later, so it's like you can't really get your hopes up or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that too. WWE tag team breakups. It doesn't make sense. Like Enzo Amore, Cass, and Heavy Machinery, and the Iconics. So I don't know what he's doing.
Academy was great. Or no,
Yeah,
was that the name of when it was Jason Jordan and Chad? It was the Alpha Academy, right?
Oh,
Or was it
America Alpha, I think, wasn't it?
American.
it's been so
Well,
long I can't remember.
yeah, what is it? I know. Chad Gable and Otis are the academy, but maybe Jordan and Gable were the American or academy or something.
1 second here. I'm gonna put up a one spot here.
I'll look that up quick.
Yeah, look that up real quick. I think they're called the American something.
Oh yeah, American Alpha.
Yeah,
Yeah, the team of Jason Jordan, Chad Gable, American Alpha broke up. What is it, 2017 or something? And
yeah,
then
because they had a storyline where Jordan was Kurt Angle's son, and that's when they
Yeah.
brought Shelton Benjamin back.
yeah, that it did not make sense. It was a weird storyline.
The storylines that WWE have don't make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it just like the whole Mad Cat Moss and Corbin, or Happy Corbin, is just, I don't know what they're doing.
That one doesn't make no sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with Corbin's such a great wrestler. He's so underrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a great wrestler. It's just the character is kind of, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I want him to go back to the lone wolf thing like he was doing before. But
Alpha was a manager would have been great.
oh yeah, that too. I think he just felt like he had to change his character for some reason after he like cut his hair off or something, and he really didn't have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What other types of personas would you like to try out in wrestling?
Well, I would definitely love to be the bad guy at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to how to be, but we'll see within time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think you definitely got a heel character mask to you, and it definitely could work.
Yeah, I scared him. Didn't mean to, but the mask kind of scared a few of the kids at the below zero.
Oh, it did? Okay.
But I think it worked perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely feel it's like a heel character mask, and it's definitely not like a friendly Rey Mysterio kind of thing. But yeah, but I mean that could be a good thing. Start out as a heel or something going on, or just, see what goes on. But yeah,
Yep, you never know.
Yeah,
that's the best part about
it. Yeah. All right, I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right, so what do you think about like Japanese wrestling and Mexican wrestling?
Oh, having Pat Tanaka as my teacher and him coming from a Japanese background, he taught us some of the Japanese wrestling, and he's put us through some of the ringers that the Japanese wrestlers go through. I mean, my ribs felt the sheer end of a kendo stick a few times. I think they are a whole different breed of pro wrestling. Like, the stuff they do in Japan is like, it's just way out there, like, compared to what, we do in the States for pro wrestling. They're just crazy. Like, they're a strong breed that I would not want to mess with a Japanese pro wrestler. And the same with, like lucha style down in Mexico. Like, their wrestlers are they're crazy. They're amazing. They're so good. Like, they're like top tier level of like amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's New Japan and a lot of those Japanese strong styles and lucha styles are just pretty awesome to see and getting a little glimpse of that in the Midwest. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
definitely.
Uh, oh, yeah, you can go. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Pat Tanaka, too, he's recently been managing for Below Zero Wrestling for Jake Taylor. What are your thoughts on Jake Taylor and their alliance?
I think it's a good thing. Jake Taylor, he's another guy that's had a hand in my helping of training to become a pro wrestler. He's really helped me with getting over my stage fright. Taylor and I started training at the same time with Pat Tanaka, so I think I think it's gonna be a good thing, but I guess we'll see where it goes for Jake Taylor with Pat Tanaka being his trainer. I'm not really sure, 100%. But with
Mm-hmm.
Pat Tanaka by his side, you just never know what else he's going to break out. Because Pat Tanaka, he's been around the world. He's been
Mm-hmm.
around. He's been around the businesses. He knows things that Jake Taylor might not know yet. And I think if Jake's dangerous now, imagine what Pat can do for him.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I not want to be standing across the ring from Jake Taylor because he's a big guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, he's. I think his. I think he got a pretty good pop at the. I think it was the. I think September show at the Sanctuary Event Center. He based the Oregon Digs. So yeah, he's definitely a menacing character.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So years ago in wrestling, it seemed to be like everybody wanted the muscular guys, and they didn't really want any of the smaller guys.
Mm-hmm.
But now that has kind of changed because everybody is wanting the cruiserweights over the muscular guys. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that it's good because now wrestling doesn't have to be revolved around you have to be 6'11" and 300 pounds. It's like now that the smaller guys like myself, we're allowed to now showcase our talents because you don't have to be 6'11" and 300 pounds to be a talented pro wrestler now. It's, now that we're having the chance to show, hey, look, we can do this. There's obviously things that the smaller guys can do that the bigger guys can't. And I think that gives a edge to pro wrestling because there's only so much a big guy can do. And then people will see it and they'll be like, okay, this, that. And then when you got the smaller guys, they're like, oh, I've never seen that before. I think it's great. You get to see
Yeah.
something because you're not going to see a 6'11" dude do a corkscrew spin off the top rope. I mean, you might.
Maybe. Mm-hmm.
How
Yeah.
often?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think someone who's been very influential in that has to be CM Punk and his pipe bomb from 10 years ago or 12 years, I think now. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think CM Punk changed the landscape of wrestling, and now 12 years later, and well, even a few years ago, it's been showing, and a lot of smaller guys are able to get out there more. So
Yeah. Same with Brian Danielson. He was if you meet him in person, he's only about like 5'8", 5'9". He was one of those
mm-hmm.
guys who got to break through and get the smaller guys opportunities too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's kind of scary how good he's gotten. Or I think he's always been awesome, and he's just not been able to showcase much of that talent in WWE. But now he's kind of insane in AEW, and he just taps out everyone now. So
Yeah, his Ring of Honor match, he had a Ring of Honor match with Kenta one time. That was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, well, I know you're still pretty relatively new to the wrestling, but do you have any good wrestling stories from your career yet?
Um, hmm. I would say maybe not because I've only really been on two. Well, this will be my second show, so
Mhm.
not really yet. I would say.
Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
I've met a lot of great people, and I've things like that. But as far as like a story, not really, not yet.
mhm. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get it. I know it's still relatively new to the scene and everything, but I was just curious if you had anything. And but I know this might be another thing though. But do you ride with anyone to wrestling shows or?
Uh, usually, usually I just drive myself.
Mm.
I
Oh.
I think I rode with Lanigan once to Below Zero.
Mm. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. How about you go, Jesse?
All right. So, do you think that all the troubles that wrestlers had, like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, do you think a lot of that has kind of gone away now, or do you still think the problem is there?
Hmm.
As in steroid use or concussions and stuff like that, like
Uh,
and stuff like that.
Both.
Well, as far as steroids, I would say maybe the steroids got better because people aren't really held to a standard as much anymore on being a certain size. But as far as concussions and stuff like that, obviously nobody has done what Benoit did since
Right.
Benoit did. But they're definitely still there. Wrestling it's not an easy thing to be in. There's injuries, there's concussions, there's broken bones, there's torn knees. I mean, it's always going to be there, but I think pro wrestling is now at such a good place as in being such an open company that they have to take care of their wrestlers and they're not
Hmm.
going to make you really work hurt as much anymore from what I've heard from a few people. So I
Mm-hmm.
think they're now taking better care of their wrestlers after stuff like Eddie and Chris happened.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I keep bringing up CM Punk about that too, but I think CM Punk he just worked out from wrestling from working too much, and that's just
Yeah,
another good example. And wrestlers are able to take time off now, which is good. So
yeah. Other than
yeah.
Punk, they did work him a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 definitely. So I have uh, who is? I know we've talked about Levi Lanigan and Tank, but who's your closest friend in the wrestling business?
Uh, I do have a buddy. He's wrestled. I think he wrestled twice for Fully Loaded back in the day. His name's Jay Escobar. He's a really really big dude. You probably see him at the shows. Uh, he's got a big
Yeah.
goatee. Does ring bell. I would say he's the closest friend in the business. I mean, me and him we have the same goal, the same passion, which I think it's great to be around somebody that you can share such a passion with because it drives you to want to do it more.
Mm, right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know. I know him a little bit, so but I didn't know that he did wrestling and fully loaded. So it's kind of cool to hear that.
I guarantee within like some point this year you see a lot of him because he's a big dude and he can do some stuff that big guys shouldn't be able to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know right now he's done some refereeing jobs in Below Zero Wrestling, so I where I've seen him, and he does a pretty good job with that. So
Yeah, he was very fortunate enough to be the catch guy with us.
Mm-hmm. Probably the tallest referee I've ever seen. So
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Told me when he made me referee, he's like, yeah, the wrestlers love when the referees are smaller than them because it makes them look big.
Yeah. It looks like he could crush a Jack Ledger or something. So
Yep.
mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, I'll let you go, Jesse.
All right. So it's been noted on wrestling sites too that Chris Benoit's son David has been trying to get signed, and nobody's really wanting to give him a chance. Do you think what Chris did with his family kind of hurt his chances at getting signed?
I would say yes and no. Yes, that him being Chris Benoit's son is every time you see him on TV, you're going to immediately think, oh, what his dad did, which is unfortunate because he was just he had no part, like, and it kind of took not only a big hit on his life from what his dad did to not having his father or not having his little brother. It's still not only does that affect him till this day, but his dream of being a pro wrestler is now shattered because people are like, if they see David Benoit, the internet's the internet, and you know everybody knows how wrestling fans are on the internet.
Yeah.
They're gonna bring up Benoit. It's just Benoit this, your dad did this, your dad did that, and it's not his fault, but
right.
Not really anything you can control because it'll never go away.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Brian Pillman Jr. I mean, look, his dad passed away, and now he's a big superstar on AEW. I mean, I kind of feel for David because I think he should have that chance too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Speaking of that too, have you watched much of Dark Side of the Ring?
Yeah, I catched a few episodes. I catched the New Jack one. I catched the Benoit one, the Eddie Guerrero one. I catched a few.
Okay. Yeah. I think I watched the Chris twice, and then Macho Man, and maybe another one. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see more hidden facts about that in a big video form, because I mean you can always read about it, but when they put it in that light and then hear it from past wrestlers and stuff about the situation, so it's good to get a good on that.
Yeah. I think it's a good peek behind the curtain to make fans realize that it's not all just fame and money. Like there's some stuff that happens behind those curtains too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean I know WWE makes behind the stuff too, but it's not the same as what Dark Side of the Ring does. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you go, Jesse.
All right, I have one more question. I think we'll let Bullet go for a night. First of all, Bullet, thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope you be willing to come back on the show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Definitely.
You're very welcome. So my last question of the night for you is, are you hoping that to get the call one day from either WWE or TNA or AEW, and where would you want to go?
I would definitely, hands down, work for AEW. Not being one of those fanboys that are like AEW is the greatest company around. I just think who they have now in AEW, I'd fit more in with compared to you guys. You got guys like Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and all those guys, all those big monsters in WWE. I feel myself fitting in more wrestling style and size wise in AEW.
Right. Yeah. I think it definitely would be a better fit, and I mean they're already giving people chances on AEW Dark and giving them spotlights like we were talking about, and they're able to show it on YouTube. So yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. Just one other thing before we close. Bullet Bronson is going to be at Puffmania Wrestling Association (PWA) March 18th in Valley City, North Dakota. Doors 6 p.m. Bell 7 p.m. Tickets are at the Valley City Eagles Club. So if you guys want to see Bullet Bronson versus Levi Lanigan for the PWA, that's this Saturdays, or no, not next Saturdays. So if you guys want to see that, get your tickets now. And looks like it's a big event. They got Nick Nelson, Jason Strife, Hotshot Danny Duggan, Jameson Moreger, Joseph Anderson. So yeah, they definitely got
Great.
a lot of talent on there.
Yep, great show.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you close off, Jesse.
All right. So so what's the best way for fans to get a hold of you if they have questions for you?
They can definitely reach out to my Facebook page, Bullet Bronson, or they can reach out to me on Instagram at Bullet Bronson, and my messages are always open.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, have a great night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Hold up a second.